nigga here now, see?
My mind is so spectacular. Open up your aperture. You don't like the light that I be shining, bitch. You Dracula. Southern draw vernacular. Flip you like a spatula. Knew that I was built to put this world up on my scapula. I've been on this road so long, my tires ball. I don't wanna text and no, I don't wanna call. Came in this shit running, bitch, I don't know how to crawl. We ain't never folding them, holding the highest cars. Look, okay, grew up running post routes. Now I'm on the cash route. Better call the plumber, that boy spitting like a bass spout. All these bad women in this club, fuck is you mad about? Word to all my estheticians, boy, I'm about to lash out. Straight from St. John's to the east side. Jigging since the knee high. Watch the way I put on for my state, nigga, yeehaw. Respecting no everything. Crazy how I made it to the league from the bleach eyes. Boy, my shit hair wrong. Black, rich, and bare arms. Smoking on that yogi, this shit stronger than some bare arms. Goku, I'm in rare form. You cannot prepare for him. When I swing, it's like a carnivore. This shit ain't fair for him. Brought intellect back to this rap shit. You niggas need chapstick. Shit been dry for way too long, and I'm the matchstick. You niggas Nickelodeon me. I'm more like Cap Nick. Cap a nigga, throw him in. Party favors on the table, you can pick and choose. I would be lying if I said it, I don't get confused. I'm just a player in the game and I don't pick the rules. Why trouble always seem to find the ones with shit to lose. About to blow like we just lit the fuse. We double dutch into this dough, I get this shit in twos. Push the button, get it started, put that shit in cruise. A little dust up on his heart, I barely get to use. A fool flatters himself, a wise man flatters a fool. Man, I just came to get it started like mechanics with tools. Cause in my hood, if you don't pack a tool, you planning to lose. These young boys deserve Oscars, they be acting a fool. A couple loose screws, but they hammer accurate. Ooh, I know some niggas stuck on drugs and manufacture it too. School of hard knocks, we all got our bachelor's. Food, no cap and gowns, but we all had the master. Party favors on the table, you can pick and choose. I would be lying if I said it, I don't get confused. I'm just a player in the game and I don't pick the rules. Why trouble always seem to find the ones with shit to lose. I'm dumb lit, it's about to be a late night. Fresh rack, shawty, show me what it tastes like. Niggas know me in my city like I'm Wayne Wright. Got them looking up to me and we the same height. Ooh, I got it bad, deep in my bag. Foot on the gas, they cannot last. Swimming with the sharks, bitch, that's a great white. Never stopping, we don't even need no brake lights. Say she don't smoke, but she always smoke with me, yeah. Backwards in the air, back up in the ovaries, yeah. All my ops, they stay running like they over easy. Even my masseuses can't just get too close to me, yeah. Shout out to Next. Soon as the ink dry, we count out the checks, yeah. I never flex. I bought up a business, you bought up a section. I'm at the top of my class, yeah. Y'all never learned from your lesson. Skywalker gave me the force, yeah. Turn this into an obsession, yeah. I couldn't wait on the team, cooking shit up with just me rolling flag, yeah. Things never are what they seem, but we know the facts, yeah. Charging that shit to the game, but now I pull up with a battery pack, yeah. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, and we can just leave it at that. I'm dumb lit, it's about to be a late night. Fresh rack, shawty, show me what it tastes like. Niggas know me in my city like I'm Wayne Wright. Got them looking up to me and we the same height. Ooh, I got it bad, deep in my bag. Foot on the gas, they cannot last. Swimming with the sharks, bitch, that's a great white. Never stopped and we don't even need no brake lights. Big bro, why they call you big bro? Every time we hit the bank, we deposit zip codes. Well connected with the streets like we out in Skid Row.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos. Hit that like button as y'all come in here. Make sure you guys wipe your feet before you enter this house. Hit that like button as y'all come in here to share, subscribe. Hit that Cash App at $Slickrick, $Slickrick 1991 son, where you guys can go ahead and show your love to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Also, you can also go to our super stickers and super comments that are available. All you guys got to do is hit that button right below in the right hand corner. And you guys can, donate to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast at your own discretion. Make sure you guys continuously support the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. We drop to you on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, but let's get it popping. All right, man. Happy Tuesday morning to y'all, man. Hope that you guys enjoyed our video yesterday with Mrs. Min J for the Believe in Clippers podcast. If you guys have not saw that video, my girl Mrs. J, she has a spot on the Believe in Clippers with me every single Monday. So I will drop that video every single Monday for the other networks. So you guys make sure you guys keep an eye out on that. But check out our last episode, which just dropped yesterday. To me, this is a week again I wanted to dedicate to Kobe. Yesterday, I had a video that dropped about Shaquille O'Neal. The day before that, me and Rick did a live on Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Actually on Kobe, why is he should be in the GOAT debate. As I've said before, I think Kobe Bryant has been unfairly removed from the GOAT debate, but a good job from certain people and certain plants who want to erase his legacy. But as I've said before, the last previous two videos, we have, make sure we have to punch back against that, because this is what they do. This is what the media does. This is what, they do. They recreate the narratives for the masses to actually, come up with their own, their own ideology. And if you don't know and you weren't there and you don't do your research, you can be easily persuaded into, you can be backed into a corner, if you will. Basically, i.e., you could basically be saying, what the masses are saying. That's why I said it yesterday. I think Kobe Bryant fans got to do a better job of getting in their bag, meaning they have to be able to articulate and be able to talk and actually, explain why this man should be in the top 5 debate and it should be in the GOAT debate. I don't think enough Kobe Bryant fans do a good job. As I said it before, I can understand why a lot of people think Kobe Bryant fans are delusional, because I hear some of their arguments as well. And I just be like, you guys can say a lot more than he just had. He can make a shot behind the backboard, or he had like a mean face if he wanted to kill you. Like, you can say more than that to really back up your case, like, because it seems like more people would tend to listen if you guys use actual analytics, and you also use actual moments to back up your point. And we miss so many moments that we can use in his favor to really drive home why this man should be in the top 5. Well, no worries. I'm here to debunk all that. But this is another video I want to really drop, and this is something I wanted to really drop for a minute, and it's basically highlighting the hypocrisy, and it's highlighting the how can I put it? It's highlighting, at least to me, that one side gets an excuse that the other one does not. And y'all know how I feel about hypocrisy and people who try to use things for one thing but not for the other. I think it's one of the most disgusting things that we have on planet Earth. When you tell me do as I say, not as I do, right? I've always hated that, that mindset, but we use it in today's world, and we use it in sports. And the people who drive home this narrative are coming from the same people I tell y'all to watch out for, and that's the media. Now, here we have two all-time greats right here. Probably the two top Lakers in NBA history, in Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson, right? Obviously, Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson played in two different eras. Magic Johnson played primarily in the 80s, and a bit in the 90s, like for a couple years. And then Kobe Bryant pretty much played part of the 90s, mid 90s to end 90s to 2010s, right? And then going to the 2020s as well. Two different eras. Obviously, one's, the elder, which is Magic, and the other one's the youngin, which is Kobe. So they didn't really get a chance to really play against each other. So unlike him and Kobe and Shaq, or Kobe and Tim Duncan, which a video I'm gonna do probably next, you can't really compare them on the court, head to head. You can compare them, with their accomplishments, which I'm gonna do in a minute, and accolades, but you can't compare them. This player beat this player this amount of times, and he had the better numbers against this player, yada yada yada. You can't really do that with these two because they're differential in age, which is fine. But what I'm going to do is really expound, and I'm going to really, expose the hypocrisy, and why I say not only is this Kobe Magic Johnson debate to me more so about likability, but it's also something where if you look real deep, you can just see who's the better player overall. And I know a lot of people are going to kind of, fringe on that, especially of people who are part of my 80s and 90s crowd who watched basketball at that time. Because I do have a wide range of audience from, ages from about 17 up until like 50 something, 55, maybe 60. So I know some of my old heads are going to get a little bit, maybe feel some type of way, but I'm just exposing, the truth about things. And I'm going to really get deep into why I feel the way I feel about this. But let's get into it. First of all, let me do this real quick for y'all. I always forget this. That's better. Man, I love this, man. I love this beat, man. It just fits my personality, chill, what I'm saying, laid back, cool, calm, as the side of the pillow. This is what I like to, put out there. So I hope that y'all enjoy the background music right here. But I want to get into a few things. And we talking about really, again, this is a subject pertaining to Kobe and Magic, who was the better overall, greater player, but also expounding on the hypocrisy that one side gets, the other one does not. But let me just first, highlight, what their careers look like. I'm saying, Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson. Obviously, playing the basketball is my go-to, where I go, like, I like to actually, really highlight, what's what and who's who. And if you look at both of their careers, you kind of see a lot of similarities. You do. Well, no, I take that back. You see similarities in one category, and that's championships. Actually, they couldn't be even more opposite. Right? Kobe Bryant is a guy who was a scorer, looked at as a two-way player. Magic Johnson looked at as the orchestrator and the point guard, pretty old point guard. Kobe Bryant was a guy that you saw more serious. Magic Johnson you saw as a guy more lighthearted, but he can be serious on the court as well. One guy, Kobe Bryant, I think was, hard to like, especially in his playing days. And Magic Johnson was a guy, who was hard not to like in his playing days. So, it's really night and day, oil and water between the two. And I think that's what, plays into the point that I'm going to get into, as the video goes on, why certain, things can be given to one person, not the other. But I digress from that. Let's get into some of the accomplishments. So Kobe and Magic obviously both have 5 championships. Kobe played 20 years in the NBA to Magic 13. Kobe played 15 playoff games to Magic Johnson 13. All-Star games to Kobe 18 and 12. Look at the honors and awards right here. This is where things are a little bit interesting. Magic beats Kobe in MVPs 1-3. He beats him in Finals MVPs 2-3. All NBA first teams 11-9 goes to Kobe. All NBA teams go to Kobe 15-10. All defensive first team 9-0. All defense teams 12-0 goes to Kobe. All 4 of those categories go to Kobe. Scoring leader, of course, goes to Kobe 2-0. Assist leader goes to Magic 0-4. And then you got steals leader goes to Magic Johnson 0-2. So if you look at the honors and awards, they go to, pretty much Magic Johnson edges Kobe out by I think one category. If you look at the championships and seasons, Kobe Bryant, edges him out in every category outside the championships. And that primarily is because, again, Magic Johnson played 13 seasons in the NBA. So it's kind of strange, when you look at it, Magic Johnson played 7 less years than Kobe, but had a Finals MVP over him, 2 regular season MVPs over him. He had, of course, he led the league in assists 4 years, and then he led the league in steals 2 years, which means Magic Johnson got a lot done in his particular time, he was in the league. Obviously, it was cut short because of the whole HIV situation in 91. But Lord behold, Magic Johnson got a lot done in his career, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But the statistics, as y'all see right here, Magic Johnson beats Kobe Bryant out of 3 out of the 5 statistics: rebounds, assists, and steals per game. Right? So the stats and the honors and awards, Magic Johnson edges Kobe out in the majority of the categories. So it's looking like Magic Johnson right now is ahead of Kobe Bryant, which not so fast. I'm going to talk a little bit about, again, really defending Kobe Bryant, and a lot of Kobe Bryant fans need to do a better job getting in their bag. See, me, I like to give everybody, the people, the credit they deserve before I actually hit the punchline. Right? But That's kind of a landscape of both their careers. As y'all come here and smash that like button. Now, let me just say this, and let me add on before I continue. Again, when I talk about and compare these players to Kobe, I'm not trying to disrespect Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, Hakeem Olajuwon, Larry. I'm not trying to disrespect them. What I am trying to do is defend Kobe because I think he's the one that needs the most defending. He's been the most disrespected in this top 10 list. He's been the one that's been written off. He's been the one that's been graded based off of his off the court instead of on the court. I don't care what nobody says. This is how it's been his whole entire career. People would not give this man his credit because they didn't like him or they didn't feel like he was, too personable, or he was, somebody was trying to copy Mike, or he was a ball. Like, you could come up with so many reasons not to like him other than his basketball game. And you can see if you're a guy that, like me who watched the 2000s when Kobe was in his prime, just ask anybody who did not think Kobe Bryant was great or didn't think he was all that. Ask them the reason why they wouldn't have, him as, either the best player in the league in his prime or one of the top 2 to top 3. It never came to, well, I just don't think he could do this. I don't think he was a great, scorer. I don't think he can shoot. I didn't think he can he was a killer or he can play defense, or it was never about his game. It was always off the court. It was always something off the court. And that really opened my eyes to really see, like, yeah, this is all personal when it comes to him. And it's been personal since he retired, and it's still personal. Wow, how we rank him. Again, I did not see all these dudes, Bird, Duncan, Hakeem, Shaq. I didn't see all these dudes come in when he was playing. It was between Mike and Kobe. Who was the better player between Mike and Kobe? After that 5th championship against Boston. But I digress. Let's get back to Kobe and Magic. Let me first talk about Magic Johnson real quick. Magic Johnson is one of the most interesting players in NBA history. Again, I wasn't born in the 80s. I didn't watch Magic Johnson live. I did watch film on Magic Johnson. I watched film on all the players, up until the past the 60s. Yes, I did watch black and white. So I did watch a good chunk of Magic Johnson, film. Of course, I studied his game, his statistics, his highlights, everything I could, find on him. I even bought The Quiet as Kept. When I was a kid, there was a video I bought on VHS called Showtime. And it was Magic Johnson's tape where it talked about his entire, childhood and, him in high school, him in college, and him in the pros. And that was one of my favorite VHS tapes. So I took a liking to Magic pretty early, to be quite honest. And it was all because, again, his personality. He was always a guy who seemed like everybody wanted to be around. Like, everybody loved Magic Johnson, especially coming from California, where I'm from. Magic Johnson is looked at as the guy. Like, this is his city. This is his town. This was, the Lakers were, the team out here. You had the Lakers and the Dodgers. Those are the two most, important teams in LA. And if you was born in the 80s or in the 70s or whatever, a lot of people had this man as the GOAT. I mean, as the greatest Laker of all time. You go in LA, he has all his businesses. He had his, Showtime theaters, Starbucks. He's a part-time owner for the Dodgers, the Los Angeles Sparks. His hands are in everything. Just like on the court, he just seemed to be everywhere on the court when it looked to offense. He looked to always make and elevate everybody's game when it came to basketball. His personality, he took off the court, he took on the court, he put it off the court. So everyone loved Magic Johnson. When they say that it was magical watching him, that's what they're talking about. He just found a way to always impact everybody's life. His teammates wanted to play. You will not find a teammate that did not want to play with Magic Johnson. From Kareem, from Jamal Wilkes, from Michael Cooper, to Kurt Rambis, to Byron Scott, to Bob McAdoo. Even his USA teammates, everybody loved him. Everybody loved Magic Johnson. Because he always just seemed to brighten your day. Including Kobe's. Quiet as kept, people don't know this. Kobe Bryant's favorite player wasn't Michael Jordan growing up. It was the guy that he's sitting right next to who he actually played for the same franchise. That's Magic Johnson. Which is crazy because Kobe and Magic both have completely different games. But he said in the interview that Jordan wasn't his favorite player, Larry Bird wasn't his favorite player, Dr. J wasn't his favorite player, Isaiah Thomas wasn't his favorite player. It was Magic Johnson. Right? But like I said, if you look at his career, Magic Johnson's career, in 13 seasons, he's done some things that nobody's even done in their career. First of all, he won a championship as a rookie, and he was a Finals MVP. That historic Game 6 where he had over 40 points, and I think he had over 15 rebounds, and he played center, and he against the Sixers, like he came into the league with a certain fervor. Like his killer instinct was as deadly as his smile. See, people like him, like they trick you a little bit. See, when Jordan and Kobe get mad, you see it, you expect it, but Magic had a killer too inside of him, but he was with a smile, and that's what really messes you up on the court, right? This guy's killing me, and he look like he's having a good time, having fun. That's demoralizing, man. That's demoralizing. But Magic Johnson, again, as far as his career goes, man, 13 seasons and having all that he's accomplished and what he accomplished and when he did it at and the moments he had, I mean, it's undeniable. 9 finals appearances. Yes, he lost 4 of them, but he was up against, historic teams like the Boston Celtics, who had Larry Bird, had Kevin McHale, had Robert Parrish, had Dennis Johnson, had all the, Hall of Fame talent. Against the Detroit Pistons, later on in the 80s. You have to face, Dr. J in the early 80s in his first finals. Even though he was older. He's still Magic, and that's why I say my top 5, because he's the greatest point guard in my point of view. I don't think this whole Steph Curry thing, again, this just goes to show you again, a lot of these millennials don't do their research, and we're the only sport, in my personal opinion, that does not respect the OGs. I'm not saying you can't surpass an OG, but people, part of this time just really just put things and just forget about or did not do their homework. You're talking about Steph Curry, and I don't mean to go too deep into this, but Steph Curry, if you look at his accomplishments compared to Magic Johnson, again, he played 13 seasons. Steph Curry, what is he on? Let me pull this up real quick. All right, here we go. So, again, land of basketball is my go-to. You look at the accomplishments, the awards. There's nothing that Steph Curry has done over Magic Johnson other than he's played more seasons, which goes against him because he's had more time to do what he does. Now, Steph Curry coming to the league was not the primary option, of course. So that matters. But again, he's had 2 more seasons over Magic Johnson. And he doesn't beat him out in any category. Not playoffs played, not all-star games, not championships, not season MVPs, not finals MVPs, all NBA first team, all NBA teams are tied. Scoring leader, Steph Curry beats him out in scoring. That's the only category. Magic Johnson beats him out in assists and steals leader. What's funny is that both these guys have a steals leader, championship or still led the league in steals for a season, but none of them have all defensive teams. So I wonder why they don't. That's kind of what it is. But yeah, he beats them out in no categories other than the scoring leader. Magic Johnson got more done in less time than Steph Curry, another one. And again, he's primarily the guy who can run the offense. I look at point guard as a guy that can orchestrate the offense and actually elevate his teammates. Which Steph Curry does a great job of elevating his teammates quiet as kept. He can pretty much play with anybody. But when you talk about the ultimate winner, the ultimate guy that elevates his teammates, Magic Johnson's right there, the cream of the crop on the offensive end. So again, I just put that out there to let y'all know a lot of people just do not do their research and they disrespect the old school. But back to Kobe and Magic. So giving Magic Johnson his props right there, right? With that being said, I pulled up the statistics between him and Kobe. And they're pretty close. So I don't just look at the accomplishments. I look at the whole totality, the championships, the accolades and the accomplishments, the skill set, the playoffs. What did you look like in the finals? Yada yada yada. So eye test, a part of the game where I think a lot of people have, really kind of gotten away from. And as y'all come here, smash that like button. Please hit that like button. Very important you guys hit that like button. Get the people and get the algorithms up. I think the big thing people forget is this game, you have to not just look at the stats. You got to actually use your eyes and study the game. I said this many times before. And I'm going to say it again. When anybody gets drafted into the NBA from college or from high school, whatever, scouts don't just pick up a stat sheet and say this guy averaged 25 points, averaged 8 rebounds, averaged 5 assists, shot 48% from the field, shot 38% from 3, shot 85% from the line, and say, okay, let's just pick him up. They don't do that. They go and watch the man play, whether it be on the college level. Some of them been watching their prospects since high school, even since AAU, the way, basketball is now. They watch them, and then if they like what they see, they obviously invite them for training camp, or they invite them for, a workout, private workout, to see more of them, get a chance to be around them, their family, if they have their family right there with them as well. And they pretty much get all their research and they actually get a chance to see them with their eyes. You know why they do that? Because it's an investment. And an investment ain't enough just to say, well, I looked at their stats and they was able to let me go in and invest $1 million into this, 18, 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid, 21-year-old kid. And that's where Kobe Bryant, to me, gets disrespected because, see, it's easy for somebody to just look at his raw numbers and say, well, he can't be in the GOAT because he didn't average, 30 points per game. He didn't average 27 like, LeBron. He didn't average, he didn't shoot the ball as efficient as LeBron James or as Michael Jordan. When I've already explained to y'all the time era Kobe Bryant played in, and again, it goes back to context. A lot of things have to go through context. Kobe Bryant fans got to do a better job of doing. When you look at the era and the decade that's been the most hardest to score the ball, which means that goes against your efficiency if you're a high volume shooter and scorer like Kobe Bryant, it's the 2000s. Y'all see at the bottom, the decade that he played in was the most hardest era to score the basketball in. You want to know why? Because first off, the spacing, bigs can be camped out in the paint. You had physicality where, players can hand check you on the perimeter. Vice versa, this era where you're able to basically get away with, you're basically allowed not allowed to actually put hands on people on the perimeter where they can just have free lane to the basket. These high scoring games in the All-Star game, they scoring 150, close to 200 points. No defense being played at all. And they can get the reins to say that they're so more skilled than these guys who played in the 90s and 2000s, when really the rules allowed them to get away with a lot of certain things that they did not allow in Kobe Bryant's era. But yet this man scored 81 points in an NBA game. With all that, he had streaks where he was scoring 50 points. There was a streak he had over 50 points in 9 straight games. I don't know if it was 40 or 50, one of the two. He scored 40, 50 points 9 straight games. Fourth in scoring all time. Scored 62 points, outscoring an NBA team by himself in 3 quarters of Dallas Mavericks. And then he tells his coach, "I'm gonna sit out the 4th quarter. I'm gonna get the 81 the next time." That's who he was, man. That's what he had to go up against. But all this stuff gets dismissed. Nobody talks about it. I don't know why. No one talks about it. Defensive rating, second most difficult. Right there, y'all see. Second was 2000s. The first 1970s. The third was 1980s with Magic Johnson when he played. But I digress from that. Lost my train of thought. So, as far as a player between these two, if you look at just with their eye test, and you line them up next to each other, one is the perennial point guard in Magic Johnson, and one's the two-way player in Kobe Bryant. One guy was 6'9", the other one was 6'6", 6'7", if you want to be nice about it. They're both different, but they're both very impactful. But again, this is a two-way sport. And I know people are going to be looking at it like, well, different. But again, when you are a two-way player, you can affect the game more. If I can go out there and give you 30, 35 points and go on the other side and stop you from getting 30 points and hold you to 15, that's more impactful than a player who is arguably the greatest offensive player we've seen in Magic Johnson. Arguably. He can score, he can pass, he can rebound, he can do everything on the offensive end. However, Magic Johnson, as y'all saw, has no defensive teams on his record. Not even an All-NBA second team. Which means he had a lot of help around him. And this is another thing people don't talk about. That 1980s Laker team is probably one of the best teams of all time. You can make a case. From the Hall of Famers they had on that team to all the offensive weapons. And then having his sidekick in Kareem being a top 5 player, which I want to go into right now, which is the punchline of this entire thing. When you look at the Kobe Bryant Lakers, what a lot of people don't really talk about is the 2000s Lakers was not stacked with a whole bunch of Hall of Famers. What you had was a dynamic duo, and Kobe and Shaq was arguably the most dominant duo that we've ever seen. Duo. You had a dynamic duo with some great role players. You had Derek Fisher, you had Rick Fox, you had Brian Shaw, you had Robert Horry, you had Samaki Walker, but these were just guys who were quote unquote very solid, good players who knew their roles. but none of them was our Hall of Famers. None of those guys were even all-stars. If I can't remember, was Derek Fisher. He was never an all-star. Robert Ory wasn't an all-star. Brian Shaw wasn't an all-star. Rick Fox wasn't an all-star. Samaki Walker damn sure wasn't no all-star. Slava Medvedenko. All these guys that y'all probably have never even really heard of were their teammates in the 2000s when they were winning championships and going to the finals and dominating the 2000s. At least the first 5 years, and then they split up. Vice versa, Magic Johnson's team, who had James Worthy, who was an all-star. You had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, was a top 5 player of all time. You had Byron Scott, if I'm not mistaken, was an all-star. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I thought he was an all-star. Michael Cooper was an all-defensive type of caliber player. You have Bob McAdoo, who is an all-star. That 1980s Laker team was stacked with talent. The 2000 Lakers was not stacked with talent. They had a great, proven coach that had a great system with 2 dominant players when one was in their prime and one was actually right before his prime, Kobe Bryant. That's what they had. Now, I hope that y'all stick with me here. Again, hit the like button. It's the last I'm going to tell y'all before, the duration of the show. I hope that y'all enjoying what y'all hearing. There seems to be like I said, there's a hypocrisy when it comes to Kobe and Magic. One guy gets praised for something that the other one gets demonized for. Again, Magic Johnson's a fun-loving human being that everybody wants to be around, everybody loves. Men and women. Everybody loved Magic Johnson, man. You can't find a clip where nobody wanted to play with him. You really can't find a clip that no one has even likes him unless it's jealousy like Donald Sterling. Kobe, on the other hand, you can find many people who did not want to really either be his team or did not really care for him. You had a community, a whole community. Shout out to my boy Monty, who I definitely love, man. He said LeBron James was hated more than Kobe Bryant. Sir, that couldn't be any more farther than the truth. Kobe Bryant was hated for things that he had no control over, like where he was born, or how he spoke, or how he carried himself. Like he was demonized for stuff he had no control over, and that's real hate. That's called envy. And that's why I think when they rank these two, what it is, you got one guy, Magic Johnson, who had all of his championships with a top 5 player in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let me just pull up something what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was with the Lakers and what he was with Magic Johnson, so y'all kind of see what I'm talking about. So let me move this out the way so y'all can see the screenshot real quick. Now, if you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's resume, he arguably has the greatest resume that we've ever seen. I got Kareem number 2 on my list. He has the greatest high school, college, and NBA resume I've ever seen. He played over 20 years. Very durable. And he was the 1-2 punch with Magic Johnson. Now, there might be some pushback from the old heads talking about, well, Kareem wasn't the same dominant force he was in Milwaukee. You're right. He wasn't the same dominant force in terms of the raw numbers. But there was quite a few years he was actually still a very, very prevalent player. His first year with the Lakers, when Magic Johnson was there, he was the league MVP. He was an All-NBA first team. Let me go in and make sure I get this correct. He was an All-NBA first team. Let me see. He was All-NBA first team 5 times when he was with Magic. He was All-NBA team 2 times with Magic. So 7 times he was All-NBA either first team or All-NBA second team. He also was All-Defensive team 3 times. First or, second. League MVP. Finals MVP. Blocks leader. Still a productive player. Still looked at as the best player on his team, at least the first couple years with Magic Johnson. I know that he won the Finals MVP, but Kareem was still the best player on that squad. Won a championship with him. Won 4 more with him. Won all of his championships with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You don't hear nobody yell out, Magic Johnson won 3 championships, he won 2 with Kareem. You don't hear that. You don't hear any of that. But yet and still, again, people yell it out the top of their lungs. That how great Magic Johnson was, what he was to Kareem. Kareem already proved he can win a championship with Oscar Robertson as the guy. So he already came in winning a championship. He already proved it. Unlike Shaq, who didn't prove it. Right? Shaq comes into the league. His first 7-8 years, he had a chance to win. He never did without Kobe Bryant stepping up at 21 years old. Imagine that. Right? Again, Magic never gets demonized for that. When you can see the production Kareem had on the team. Yet and still, Kobe Bryant not only wins 2 championships without Shaquille O'Neal, he goes to 3 championships appearances without Shaquille O'Neal, back to back to back. With a guy in Pau Gasol, who I showed y'all yesterday, was not even a top 3 power forward at the time, and we only made 1 All-Star team before joining the Lakers in 7 seasons with the Grizzlies. If this guy Pau Gasol was so established, you think he would have more than 1 All-Star appearance? But the hate continues to grow even more that Kobe had Pau Gasol. And I give Pau Gasol credit for saying, this guy made me into a Hall of Famer. He elevated me. He taught me how to win. He taught me how to be great. I would not be here if it wasn't for Kobe. That's his words, not mine. What I want people to just do is be consistent and actually really understand like the agendas that are being pushed. How do you create a guy who won all his championships with a top 5 player, and you demonize a guy who won 3 of his 5 titles without a top 5 player and going to 3 more championship appearances without him? How do you say one guy can be in the top 5 and Magic Johnson, he had arguably the greatest help around him? And not to mention in a weaker Western Conference. Let me also bring this out too. The same way y'all get on LeBron, Magic Johnson's 5-4 in the NBA Finals. So that tells me the East was stronger than the West. The Celtics, the Pistons, the Sixers, the Bucks when they had Sidney Moncrief. The East had more talent than the Western Conference. They did. And you can tell, yes, he has a 5-4 record, but it's damn near 500. It ain't like Kobe Bryant's record where he's 5-2 in the finals. When he gets out that Western Conference, it's pretty much open season when he plays against the Eastern Conference team. His NBA Finals, for the most part, was in the West. Those teams like Sacramento, like San Antonio, the young Portland Trail Blazers, those gauntlets in the West. That was his NBA Finals. So when he gets into the real NBA Finals against, the New Jersey Nets or against the Indiana Pacers or against the, Orlando Magic or the Philadelphia 76ers, it's like a walk in the park. But Magic had all that help around him. Nobody talks about it. They talk about how he made everybody better. Excuse me, James Worthy came out of high school, if I'm not mistaken, in North Carolina, was a stud. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar came into the Lakers already an MVP with a championship. Now I'll give Magic this. It was exciting to watch him. He was exciting to orchestrate the team and elevate his teammates. That's the gift that he has. He has that gift to make you have another level of belief in yourself. But so does any great point guard. That's what a point guard's job is to do, is to elevate his teammates. It's just that Magic Johnson did it better than anybody that I've ever seen. And he gets credit from me from that. But also, don't forget the weapons he had and the teams that he had. If you're going to talk about Kobe Bryant's one guy, that's the only people go to. He had Shaq. They don't talk about he had a dominant team. He never had a dominant team and won. They tried to build quote unquote small little super teams with, they had an older Gary Payton and old Karl Malone, which really they're at the tail ends of their careers. Now, if you put Karl Malone and Gary Payton on that team when they were actually in their middle of their primes, then that's something different. But that wasn't a super team, man. They tried to put Steve Nash and they tried to put Dwight Howard on Kobe Bryant's team in 2013 or 2012. 2011-2012. Right? But his championships were won the hard way. Adversity. That's how his championships were won. So I know people are asking, okay, BJ, what are you saying? What I'm saying is this debate between Kobe and Magic Johnson to me comes off as more about likability and who was better. I'm sorry, it does. I conclude everything. The championships, like I said, the statistics, the accolades, the type of player you are, your moments, this, that, and the other. Your competition, who you faced, who was on your team, all that. And I know people have certain things that they look at it, what they value, but I value two-way players, and I value how you impact the game, and I value also the competition you went up against. Once I hear that Magic Johnson does not get criticized for having one of the top 5 greatest players of all time, I kind of tend to just drop the mic. And I said, okay, I see what's going on here. I think Kobe Bryant's over Magic Johnson. I do. The only people that really tend to fight back with me on that is the people who are part of the 80s and the 70s. And they take a liking to him. But as far as the overall player, man, I mean, come on, man. Kobe Bryant should be this. It should be looked at the same way with Jordan. No one in their right mind is gonna put Magic Johnson over Michael Jordan. Well, if you calling Kobe Bryant the second coming or the copycat, they're damn near similar. I swear, if you guarded Kobe and Michael Jordan, especially as both of their pieces, let's just take this and I'm gonna let y'all go. Let's say you guarded Jordan from, I say, 1991 to 90, was it like 1990 to 1993, when he was like pretty much in his prime. And you guard Kobe Bryant from 2003 to 2007 in his prime, his peak. I'm sorry. You couldn't really tell the difference between the two. Both the same size. Both are vicious scorers. Both vicious defenders. Killer instinct is pretty much the same. Clutchness is pretty much the same. Yes, Jordan was more efficient. Yes, Jordan was a little bit stronger. Yes, he had bigger hands. Yes, he had more physical size. Kobe Bryant had more skill. He had more of an outside shot. But as far as the grand scheme, when you talk about Jordan, you talk about Kobe, and no one in their right mind is putting Magic Johnson over Michael Jordan. But when it comes to Kobe and Magic, it's I just think Magic Johnson was just magical. I just think he was a magical player. That wasn't the question, bro. The question was, when you compare these two, who is the better overall player? Who affects the game more? That's all I'm asking. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know some people are not going to take too kindly to it, especially my old heads that's on here, and my Kobe haters ain't gonna like it. But like I said, man, you can have a difference of opinion, bro. Just come up with the reasons why, and stop being hypocritical. All right, hit the like button as y'all come in. All right, we'll be back on again. I'll have another video tomorrow. I hope that y'all enjoying this Kobe Bryant series. I might put this as a playlist so y'all have this to go back to. But yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed the information. Until next time, pull up, pull up, check, pull live, pays out of here like swimwear.
Like that. Woo!